going on, guys? Welcome to episode 7 of Football Talk. That's right. I'm coming at you on October 9th of 2012. That's right. So, Wednesday, hump day. That's right, hump day. Everybody likes hump day because a camel for Geico decides to make it cool. And so everybody turns it into a national holiday, basically, which is interesting because usually Wednesday I'm like, okay, Bungie's going to play us in Halo, and that was the good old days, I guess. But interesting weekend in sports. Very interesting weekend. Right now, the Cardinals and Pirates are playing each other as David Freese just hit a 2-run home run. And it was a mammo, and that's right, mammoed. Boom. Let's go. Let's go Cardinals. And Red Sox eliminated the Rays. Braves got eliminated. Oakland and Detroit play Game 5 tomorrow night. And we actually have some good football games tomorrow night as well. So we'll go ahead and jump into the NFL scores from the weekend. So last Thursday night, the Browns and the Bills played, and the Browns roll to a 3-0 start after trading Richardson, 37-24 over the Bills. So they kind of improved after they traded away Richardson, which is interesting. So maybe he's kind of infectious in the locker room. Who knows what's up with that? But Brian Hoyer did get hurt, so he will be out, I believe, for the rest of the season. So who knows? Who knows indeed? Who knows how much their fortunes will be changed. Moving on, the Packers played the Lions in Lambeau, and the Packers beat down the Lions 22-9. It was a really close game. It was like 9-6 at one point, or 9-3 at one point, and then it kind of broke off from there. And the Packers won, so I was very, very, very happy. Crosby hit like 5 field goals, so he scored 15 points. He scored 15 points by himself. It's only one touchdown for the offense, but hey, James Jones caught it, so I'm happy. And they won, so I'm happy as well. The Saints and Drew Brees headed into Soldier Field as Drew Brees picked up his first victory at Soldier Field as in his whole career. As the Saints win 26-18, the game was not as close as it seemed. It was a late drive by the Bears that kind of gave them hope, but the Saints did prevail, and they are undefeated. The Bengals beat the Patriots in Cincinnati, 13-6. So that was kind of shocking this week in sports, as I really don't know how and what's going on in New England right now. So we'll really see what's going to happen in the next couple of weeks with that franchise. Not in the way of a bad thing, but just kind of seeing what they're going to go since all their kind of old guys have left. So we'll see. The Chiefs stay perfect after they defeat the Titans of Tennessee 26-17 in Arrowhead. I believe it was in Arrowhead. It was in Tennessee. So that was a big win for the Chiefs. They stay perfect as well, 26-17 again. Titans, Fitzgerald actually did pretty well. Fitzpatrick did pretty well. So I was pretty excited to see that game kind of go on back and forth until closer to the end of the game. Then the Chiefs kind of pulled away. The Colts beat down the Seattle Seahawks. Just playing. It wasn't really a beat down, but they did beat the undefeated Seahawks 34-28. To me, this could possibly be, and I kind of have a feeling that it will be, the Super Bowl this year. The Seattle Seahawks facing the Colts in the Super Bowl would not be something to keep out of your mind. Definitely keep it in the back of your mind to kind of be like, it may happen because Marksman said so, and that's right because I did. So I think the Colts will beat them. I think the Colts will probably go. I don't know if they'll win that division, especially the way the Texans are playing. Maybe the Titans will even get in, but I think this has definitely been the matchup that reminds me of the Packers-Steelers matchup the year that they both went to the Super Bowl and faced each other. It was just like one of those instances where you were just kind of like, I could see these teams playing again. It just had that kind of feeling to it because it was back and forth throughout the entire game, and came down to a last drive by the Colts. So it was pretty exciting, and I'm happy for the Colts and Chuck Pagano a lot. Jacksonville loses again, no shocker there, to the Rams, 34-20. The Rams got back on track. They were down early, surprisingly, to the Jacksonville Jaguars, but the Rams prevailed. No shocker there to me. The Ravens shocked the Dolphins as the Ravens win in Sun Life 26-23. This game was interesting. Came down pretty much to the wire. It was a decent game. I watched some of it. I was watching more of the Saints game. I I don't know how I did not get the Packer game. I think it's just a conspiracy on me. It just feels like it. I really don't have much to say about that game. I think it will probably be a good matchup in the playoffs. I think they both will make the playoffs. I think you could see it maybe being the wild card game indeed. Eagles beat the winless Giants 36-21. The Eagles were down early, and the Eagles were down early, and then the Eagles stormed back and they won. And they definitely stormed back, and Tom Coughlin's definitely on the hot seat right now. So we'll see what happens in New York. As another team in New York is kind of taking center stage right now. The Cardinals beat the Panthers 22-6. I was surprised by this. Cam Newton threw 3 picks, but he also had like 510 yards throwing or 310 yards throwing. He had a lot of passing yards, but he also had 3 picks. And so interesting matchup. Cardinals are winning, and so they're still kind of in contention for that division, which will be interesting to see. The Cowboys lose to the Broncos as Kyle cringes as I say that. In a thriller. It was probably what Roger Goodell and the entire NFL wanted when making all these new rules that the defense can barely even touch it, receivers. Broncos win 51-48 on a 2 seconds left on the clock field goal by Prater to put it through. And I believe it was Prater. I think Prater's still their kicker. Maybe Dan Bailey's Cowboys kicker, but I don't know. There's a lot of jockstrap riding that happened in that game, so we'll see. I think the Broncos still aren't what everybody's making them out to be. I can't wait for them to see. I can't wait to see what they'll do against a extremely good defense. And the Cowboys have a good defense, but I don't know. I don't know. They showed a lot of weakness, and that's a good thing because I want the Broncos to lose. Because they'll do whatever they want in the regular season, then they'll lose in the playoffs. They're too hot right now. They started off way too hot. They're like what the old Chargers were like right now. 49ers dismantled the Texans 34-13 on Sunday Night Football. Matt Schaub threw another pick six and another interception after that. It was brutal. And they got the 49ers have the running game. They really don't have a big passing game right now, but they have the running game, and so that's what they're using to get all these victories. So 49ers win, Texans lost. That's it. Oakland beats the Chargers in a late game at 11:45 here on the East Coast, or 11:30 on the East Coast. Oakland wins 27-17. I think Charles Woodson had a pick six, and he just tied the record with Darren Sharper for most pick sixes ever in a career. And so if he breaks it this year, I will be extremely happy because I like Charles Woodson. Probably the most successful Heisman Trophy winner right now. That's still playing the game of football. I mean, honestly, he's like the most successful right now because he has a Super Bowl ring. So, and he's been to 2. So I mean, we'll see. And he's defensive. He's like one of the only defensive players ever to win his Heisman. So I'm happy to see Charles Woodson doing good, and he's always been good. So Oakland wins, surprise Raiders. They're still in contention for that West spot. I don't know that Chiefs and Broncos pretty much have it locked down, but we'll see what happens. And then I sound like a genius on Monday Night Football. The Jets shocked the Falcons 30-28 on a field goal. I said the Jets would win, walk in there and win. Kyle disagreed with me. And Kyle, we're going to bring you in here in a couple minutes. And I'm going to talk to you about that maybe at the end of the show. But yeah, I said the Jets would win, and they did. So Geno was lights out, and Julio Jones is out for the season. So we'll see what happens. We'll transition over to the picks here in a second, as Kyle is going to call me here in a couple minutes, or a couple seconds actually. But yeah, so I sound like a genius because of that pick, and I am pretty happy about it. So pretty easy, pretty cool. Feels pretty good. Feels pretty good indeed. So we'll see what the Jets do. All right, here we go for NFL picks. Well, how you doing, Cal?
Doing pretty good this week, man. How about you?
I'm good. So, just got done talking about how I called the Jets winning the Falcons, and yeah. Yeah. So we're heading over to the NFL picks. So tomorrow night on Thursday Night Football on NFL Network at 8/7 Central, right?
8:25.
8:25. Okay. But Giants and Bears play each other. And who you got in this game? In Soldier Field.
Now, in the past I've gone with the Giants because the more desperate teams win, but they're desperate, but they're just awful. So, Bears at home, defense really going to step up, and they're going to knock off the Giants. The Giants fall to 0-6.
Yeah, I have the Bears winning at home as well as the Giants go to 0-6. That's exactly what I wrote in my my cheat sheet right here. 1 o'clock game Sunday afternoon. Packers head into Baltimore, and I'm saying Packers are going to walk in there and shock the Ravens. Even though they're missing Clay Matthews, I'm just going to say that just because I got to pick the Packers. I have to. What about you?
I can't. I can't. And here's why. Not to the fact that they're missing Clay Matthews, but it's sometimes on the road, I think that the Packers kind of falter a little bit. And I think the Ravens, recently, they're going to get Ray Rice more involved in the running game and passing game this weekend. I think Flacco's going to step up and play well at home. And the name to remember this weekend, not Torrey Smith, but Camden Doss will have a big game on the Packers defense in the passing game. Defensively, Ladarius Webb with an interception to steal it. Ravens beat the Packers.
Okay, I see how it is. I may have to change what my Redskins pick is after that. Okay. The Bengals head into Ralph Wilson Stadium to take on the Buffalo Bills without E.J. Manuel. So I'm picking the the Bengals to win on the road in a hostile environment over the Bills.
I agree with you. If E.J. Manuel was playing in this game, I'd go with the Bills, but that's the point. Thaddeus Lewis is not E.J. Manuel. Yes, he's a dual threat, but Thaddeus Lewis cannot throw the ball as well as E.J. Manuel can. Plus, C.J. Silver's still banged up. You're going to get a secondary that's getting the full strength and then knocked off the Patriots in a floppy game next week. And now Cincinnati's offense is still struggling, but I think they get back on track. KJ Green has a big game. Giovanni Bernard has a big game in the running game as the Bengals win.
Yep. I agree. I think the defense will go back on track too. The Lions will head into Cleveland, into the dog pound, to take on the Brownies, the big old poopsicles. I want to call the Lions winning because Brian Hoyer's not playing. So, I think the Lions will win this, honestly. I really do.
And here's what I'm going to go on both sides of the ball. The Lions offense, if they get Calvin Johnson back, is one of the better offenses in the league. If Bush can get going, they can get the offense going with those two. They're close to them. They're pretty good offense. Defensively, they could be better. I guess we'll see where that leads them. But the Browns offense, Josh Gordon, all of them, the receiver. Brandon Whedon is not Brian Hoyer. Hoyer looked very good, and now he's done for the season. I think Whedon plays good. This will be closer than you think because the Browns defense will keep them in the game. But in the end, the better offense wins. Lions win in Cleveland.
Yeah, I mean, I would be surprised if the Browns win, but also I wouldn't be because that Detroit defense is so shaky sometimes. But I think them missing Megatron last week really hurt them. And plus, I think that Packer defense. I mean, they sacked them 5 times, and they really stepped up. So, and I don't know if Cleveland's defense is as good as the Packers, but they've got to win that game to really stay in the hunt for a playoff spot at this point. I mean, the Browns may get in, but they may not. I don't think they will, but you never know. But I think the NFC North is a lot more competitive of a division right now. So we'll see. I think the Lions will win definitely. Oakland Raiders head into Arrowhead. I almost said Candlestick. I'm gonna say the Chiefs will win at home.
I agree with you. The Chiefs defense is playing better than anybody right now. They have 3 defensive touchdowns this season, which is a very good number for them. They won an ugly game last week, but that's what you got to do. The Raiders are improving. Terrell Pryor looks like their guy, but the Chiefs at Arrowhead, it's hard to bet against them, especially in the way they've been playing there lately. Going with the Chiefs to remain undefeated.
Yeah, definitely. Panthers head into Minnesota to take on the Vikings, and I'm going to say the Vikings will win just because Peterson's going to go off this week.
Much to the delight of my fantasy teams.
Yeah.
I think I agree with you on the Minnesota pick, and here's why. Carolina is struggling right now, and they can't. After that blowout win over the Giants in the bye week, they didn't seem to get it back going. After the bye week against the tough Arizona ball club, I think Minnesota can score on the defense. I think Josh Freeman will see how he works out for the Minnesota Vikings. And I do agree with you. I think Pearson has a big game, and I think Greg Jennings, a couple touchdowns this Sunday.
Yeah, I hope so. Definitely. The Steelers head into MetLife to take on the Jets. Now I'm picking the Jets again, and they're going to win by a field goal against the Steelers. And the Steelers are going to go 0-5 for like the first time in like 20 years. So, I hate to do that, but I don't know. I don't know how healthy that team really is, and I just think the Jets seem to be on a little bit of a roll right now.
That's so fast, my friend. And here is the week the Steelers get that win, and here's why. The secondary of the Steelers hasn't looked good at points this season, but they will find a way to take big receivers like Santonio Holmes if he plays, like Stephen Hill, the tight end, Cumberland and Winslow out of the game. That defense will find a way to take them out of the game. Roethlisberger steps up when they need it the most. Big name this weekend, Antonio Brown, 2 touchdowns, has the Steelers walk into MetLife and get their first win.
To the much delight of my father, but if the defense plays well, the offense will suck. That's how it's been all season. So, I mean, I hate to pick it against the Steelers, but I just want to sound like a genius 2 weeks in a row. So, the Eagles play the Buccaneers in Tampa Bay. I think it will be a close game. I think Mike Glennon will have a decent game, but I think the Eagles will win ultimately.
Now, the key to here is Michael Vick may not play in this game, and I really don't think he will. It'll depend on the play of Nick Foles. And Nick Foles walked into there last year and won.
Yeah. He's a decent quarterback.
But Deshaun Jackson fueled some of the fire for this matchup earlier this week by saying he doesn't think Darrelle Revis could run with him. That's going to fuel Revis to shut down Deshaun Jackson this Sunday. That's going to fuel this Tampa Bay team to get their first win this Sunday. As I say, Doug Martin has a big game. 2 touchdowns and 80 yards rushing as they knock off the Eagles.
The Bucs win will be due to their defense and Jerome McCoy getting pressure up the gut. So, I think Revis is not as fast as Deshaun. I think that's what Deshaun was really what Deshaun was saying. I don't even like Deshaun Jackson as much because he's pretty ego. I mean, if you drop the ball on the goal line like 3 times in the same season, I mean you're doing something wrong. But again, I think the Eagles will win just because I think they will. I've watched the Buccaneers are the only games I ever get down here, so I've seen their defense. But again, I think the only way the way that the Buccaneers are going to win is based on their defense. Mike Glennon will do good, but their defense has got to step up and do something. So, the Rams head into Reliant to take on the Texans. Who you got in this game?
This is no debate. I'm going with the Texans, even with the recent play matchup. The Rams have shown they're a shaky team. There are 2 wins coming over. The one win coming over last week against the worst team in the National Football League, the Jacksonville Jaguars. So that's nothing to brag about. And their other one coming over the Arizona Cardinals. So, but Bradford's play of late has not been good. He has the weapons. The running game hasn't been as solid, but I think they found their guy in Zach Stacy. But I just don't think Bradford's the guy. Sean will get it on track this week, hopefully. Andre Johnson has a big game, so does Arian Foster, as the Texans roll Sunday. Yeah,
I got you on that one, too. I got Houston bounces back at home to take down the Rams. I agree. I think they will bounce back. They're too talented of a ball club not to get that 3rd win. So that's just what I think. Moving on to the biggest matchup of the weekend. The Jaguars played the Denver Broncos. And I'm picking the Jaguars to win by 50. Yeah, I'm just playing. No, I'm picking the Broncos to win by 50 as the Jaguars go 0-6.
I'm picking the Broncos by 40+. I think they'll take Peyton Manning out at some point in the game. Maybe the first quarter, maybe the second quarter, but this one's the least debatable. Jacksonville has a chance to go 0-16. They're that bad. Broncos have a chance to go 16-0. They're that good. So that's usually Broncos in a rout.
Yeah, whenever you have a 28-point spread and you haven't even gotten past Sunday night, you're pretty much done. Titans in Seattle. Titans head up to Seattle to play the Seahawks. Who you got?
Now, the Titans have been a pleasant surprise. Fought last week like hell. Sorry. But,
You're good.
Fought like crazy. Ryan Fitzpatrick, Chris Johnson kind of had another nice play by Chris Johnson on a touchdown. But they're going into an atmosphere that's up to win. They're going to face a team coming off a loss that's going to want to make a statement off a loss. Seahawks, rout.
Yeah, I'm picking the Seahawks to win. I'm going to say they're going to win against a very game Teen Titans. I almost said Teen Titans. Holy crap. Basically what they are right now. Very game Titans team. I think it will be close, but it will be a close blowout. You know what I'm saying? Like kind of like the Syracuse Clemson game was a close blowout. Like they were still in it, but they got blown out. So I think it will be a close blowout. The Saints head into Foxborough to take on the Patriots.
That's the game of the week right there.
Yeah, I think the Colts and Chargers game would be good. We're gonna get to that here in a second. Saints Patriots. I'm gonna go balls to the wall. I'm gonna pick the Patriots to win and go 5-1 at home, while the Saints will suffer their first loss. And I'm gonna say it because I think the secondary of the Saints, their front seven is really good. Because Lofton, I like Curtis Lofton a lot, and they won't have a lot of running. And I think if Amendola can get going, and Gronk is back this week, I think Gronk kind of being back is Brady's security blanket. Unless he breaks his arm again, I think that Patriots. I think they have a better chance of actually winning this game than a lot of people are giving them credit for.
And I'm not going to dispute that, but I'm going to go the other way. I'm going to go the Saints because the way the Saints have been playing have been lights out. Rob Ryan, of course, he doesn't do like stuff like that in Dallas. God forbid he does something like that in Dallas. But the coverage out there, maybe it's just more athletic guys in the secondary, but he's done a very good job. Front center, like you said, very dynamic. And the Patriots, now, Brady's still getting to know his receivers a little bit better. He's still getting acquainted with them. Now, with Gronk back, it'd be huge. But again, the Saints offense is also another different animal. They looked very good against a very good Bears defense last week. And the Bears defense is better than the Patriots defense. I think Breeze leads the charge, and they win by 6.
I think if they put Talib on Graham, that game will be different. If they put Talib on Graham, it's over. Because Talib will shut Graham down, even though Graham is huge compared to Talib. But I think Talib is just one of those cornerbacks that you're just like, where is he at on the field? And I think I don't know. The thing about the Saints is, and I think what you're talking about with Rob Ryan, in Dallas he was trying to run a 34 because he thought that he could do it with Ware and everybody like that, and it didn't work out doing a 34. So then when he came to the Saints, he's running a 43 defense, and it's working better with their people that they have because they have big ends that help the nose and D tackles get at it, and then they have really skilled linebackers that can go in through the A gap. So I don't know. Saints defense is impressive, but I think Rob Ryan's doing it right going 43 with the Saints. If he'd gone 34, it'd been a different ball game. I don't think they would have been as good this year so far if he'd gone 34 with them.
I hear you.
Yeah, so I don't know. Sorry, I don't mean to talk your ear off about defense. I'm sorry.
That's fine. No, not at all.
Cardinals and 49ers play this weekend, and it's a Candlestick, and 49ers are going to win. So
Now, this one is another one that I think is going to be a lot closer than people think. The Cardinals defense is probably one of the more underrated defenses in the league. Cardinals stands be there again. Patrick Peterson, Tyrann Mathieu, plus a surprise. I think the Cardinals fight, and I think this will be a tough one for Kaepernick and company because the pesky defense, but the offense could struggle against the defense of the Niners. I say Niners by a field goal.
yeah, I agree it's going to be close. I just think the watching, because I watched the Cardinals play against Doug Martin, and he's not having the best season, but he touched the ball like 26 times in that game, and he would get chunks of yardage that he shouldn't be getting. And if they keep on doing what they're doing in San Francisco right now, where they're just giving it to Gore and everybody, and they're giving them like 25 touches each a game, then that defense is going to get shredded because you give Gore the ball a lot and then you give Hunter the ball a lot. You know, I mean, I think that if they keep their running game going and if Kaepernick doesn't throw the football as much, they'll be okay. Like, I'm not saying because Kaepernick's going to throw, he's not because he's going to throw interceptions. I'm saying they need to stick with their running game because that's what's killing people right now. So, you know, I think because the read option has pretty much been shut down. Of like all the quarterbacks are still trying to do it, other than Michael Vick and them because that's Chip Kelly's offense. But it's not, I mean, even that's been shut down. But you know what I'm saying. Like if they keep their running game going, then they'll be pretty golden on this game. But I think it will be close, like you said. I think it'll probably come down to a field goal or a touchdown. Honestly. Yep. Sunday Night Football on NBC. Al Michaels and Chris Collinsworth were on the call with Michelle Zatoya on the sidelines, and the beautiful Carrie Underwood doing the opening segment. I still wish that Faith Hill was doing it, but hey, good trade there, brilliant trade. Redskins head into AT&T Stadium now. I think is that right?
Yes, it is.
And since you picked the Ravens, I'm still gonna pick the Cowboys to win. I'm picking the Cowboys to win by a field goal. If not a field goal, then 10 points.
And last week it showed that Romo can still produce with the best win. Criticize Romo if you want to. But he went toe-to-toe with the best quarterback in the NFL right now last week in Dallas and threw for 506 yards.
Interception.
He has a weapon in Des Bryant, Jason Witten, the emergence of Terrence Williams in Miles Century, Gavin Escobar, Cole Beasley. I mean, we have a plethora of weapons. But the defense has got to step up. Last week it did at points. Doug Claiborne picking off Peyton Manning. DeMarcus Ware's got to get more pressure on the quarterback this week, which I can't think they can. And I think Romo can abuse that beautiful Redskins secondary. Now, the Redskins will put up some points, and I think it'll be close. I'm going to take the Cowboys by 7 late.
By how much?
7. I'm going to take the Cowboys by 7.
7. Did you say 7 late?
Yep, I think they're going to get a touchdown with about 4 minutes to go.
Yeah, I can see that. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
The Colts will head in to Qualcomm to take on the Chargers, and the Chargers gave up a big lead to the Texans week 1 in Qualcomm. They beat the Cowboys in Qualcomm, and now they play the Colts in Qualcomm. So I'm picking the Colts to win, and they're gonna win in a very good game. I think that the Colts are gonna. San Diego's defense I really enjoy watching because they're feisty. They're like the Titans defense. But I do think that I really do think the Colts are going to kill them. Honestly, I think that team has way too much going right now. They're too fired up. They still have the Chuck Pagano whole leukemia thing in the back of their minds. They really do want that Super Bowl this year.
And with the Colts right now, Andrew Luck, you can talk about Russell Wilson the way he's playing. You can talk about Colin Kaepernick the way he's playing. So many second-year quarterbacks. Andrew Luck is playing the best out of all of them right now. He's coming off 2 massive wins over the 49ers and Seahawks.
Yeah, he owns that. He owns the NFC West right now.
Absolutely, and he's going to probably have a chance to, because those 2 games have shown me, and with that pesky defense, the Colts fight on defense. Chuck Pagano is a great coach, and I think he's the best hire in the past 2 years. Jim Irsay, great owner. Top to bottom, that organization is great. Andrew Luck, people underestimate his athleticism. And Luck right now is playing as good as anybody, and that's the trade for Richardson, Reggie Wayne, the weapons they have are making them a true Super Bowl threat. Guys on defense, Antoine Bethea is a playmaker. Rasheed Mathis. Robert Mathis is the leading sack getter in the NFL right now.
He's old as dirt.
Exactly. And when you got a crowd like that, if you can get some home games in that stadium, woo-wee. But I'm picking the Colts in this game because of Chargers' inconsistencies. Rivers is playing lights out right now. They got weapons, but I think Andrew Luck and them are out for something to prove. and I think it continues this week as they win by 7 at Qualcomm. But the game that we're going to do is, listen to this, next week, Sunday Night Football next weekend. Peyton returns to Indianapolis.
I think the Colts will beat them too.
That will be a fun game next Sunday night. Just a reminder for everybody.
Yeah, I mean, even though we'll be watching Walking Dead, which starts this Sunday on AMC at 9 o'clock. But I agree with you. I would only, what I really wish would have happened though is if Bruce Arians had stayed and he would have gotten Richardson in his play packages. Oh my gosh, because Arians is a beast at offense. I mean, look what he did with the Steelers for how many years, and I mean it's just if he had had Richardson a year, but oh my gosh.
And Arians is doing a fine job as head coach out in Arizona right now with a winning record.
I thought Kevin Wisenhunt was a decent coach too.
Chuck Pagano has showed me that he is one of the better coaches in the NFL right now.
Yeah, Pagano, he has. Yeah, he has that dream that he keeps on talking about, how he was hoisting the Super Bowl trophy. It reminds me a little bit of how Mike McCarthy had an empty picture of Super Bowl. He had an empty picture with a picture frame that said 2010 on it for the Packers, and he said, "This is where your Super Bowl picture is going to be this year, boys." And they went out and did it, and I think it is almost like kind of the Mike McCarthy feel to it. I'm telling you, I said in my scores recap that the Seattle Seahawks Colts game was probably a preview of the Super Bowl at this point. Like it feels like it.
It very well can be. If somebody can, if there's anybody that can go knock off Peyton Manning and the Broncos, it's that team. That team can do it. And there's few teams in the NFC that I think can do that. They're one. Yep. AFC, excuse me. But it's going to be interesting. I think the Colts, with the addition of Richardson, the way they're playing right now, if people fall after Peyton Manning left, all this team is going to go back down for 3 or 4 years. To be where they're at right now in a position to get maybe a possible 2 or 3 seed in the AFC after 2 years of Peyton Manning on is incredible.
Yeah.
That shows, like I said, top to bottom, that may be one of the better organizations in the NFL right now.
Yeah, you do know what the best one is, right?
I mean, top to bottom organization-wise, the way it's handled and everything, I think you've got to go with the Patriots right now on that one.
Yeah, I mean, I understand forcing your quarterback to give up money so you can't even get him his best wide receiver back. I mean, that makes complete sense.
You look top to bottom right now, some of the better organizations just on based on terms of draft picks, the way it's run in there, what they do, the winning mentality. Baltimore's up there. Denver, unfortunately, is up there. Green Bay is up there.
Of course, Green Bay is up there.
Indy. There's some Seattle, San Fran. There are these organizations that are run very well, top to bottom, right now. I mean, and there's some that aren't. Jacksonville.
Oh God.
But Buffalo. You just got to get the right general manager that. But I mean, if you're gonna promise a guy a Super Bowl and you a chance to win a Super Bowl, you got to execute. You can't have not being able to execute the fourth quarter. So guys like Dimitrov, they promise these things, and it's broken promises. Irsay promised that the Colts wouldn't go down. They didn't.
Yeah, I mean,
Gibson promised another championship to the city of Baltimore. What they do, they got enough.
Yeah, exactly. The Falcons, I was preaching for months in the offseason. Get Urlacher, get Doomerville, get Freeney.
You were on to something, because that linebacking core right now without Witherspoon looks like buttermilk salt.
Get Woodson. Get a secondary. Oh my gosh, I cannot wait for them to go up to Lambeau. That will be the biggest slaughter of the Falcons.
I hope the Falcons come back and get a wild card spot so they can face the Cowboys in the playoffs.
Man, I mean,
I can imagine. I wish Romo would be able to play that defense this year. I would love that.
Honestly, I think the Jaguars' defense is better than that.
Let's not go that far. That's just making irrational decisions.
The Browns have a better defense the past 2 years than the Falcons have.
The Browns right now have the 4th-ranked offense in the National Football League. Defense in the National Football League. So, yeah.
Falcons, if I was running that team, it'd be championship material right now, because I wouldn't have spent 3 years getting my offense. I would have been getting 3 years balanced.
And the thing that really restricted them from getting anybody after that was them getting all that money to Matty Ice. Matty Ice is a great quarterback, but this year, late in games, in New England, he performed in the New York game, but his defense couldn't step up. But but you look at other games earlier in the year. New Orleans, he didn't step up and win that game and play well.
Miami,
less than a minute ago, you got a chance to win the game. He doesn't step up. You've got to step up those games. You've got to win. And he did that last year. I'll give him credit. He did that last year. But what a difference a year makes, because he's not doing that this year, and it's costing the Atlanta Falcons.
he didn't even win most of those games last year. They had to rely on their kicker to hit 50-yard field goals every week.
Yep.
So, I mean, moving on to NCAA. How about that? Before we go off. All right. Northwestern travels into Wisconsin to take on the Badgers. Who you got?
I got Wisconsin, and here's why. Northwestern had an incredibly tough time stopping the run this past weekend against Ohio State. Carlos Hyde ran like Mr. Jekyll and Hyde. So, and Wisconsin is notorious for being able to run the ball well. White has a big game. Wisconsin, a double digits.
I'm going to say not so fast. First time I said that this entire time we've done this show. I think Northwestern will bounce back and take down the Badgers in Wisconsin. You know why? Because Hyde is a big back. Okay, he's a huge man. Okay, I mean he's what I like to see in a running back. It's not like John Gruden right now. I'm sorry. He Gruden grinder. Sound like Vince McMahon too. But like he's a big back and he's a power back, and they have finesse backs at Wisconsin. And yep. I just think that Northwestern, I think that team is too good and too talented to lose two straight. And I think they have to win this game to stay really into the bowl hunt, even to get into BCS Bowl at this point. Yep. And so I think Northwestern will bounce back because I think Fitzgerald, he probably tore him a new one this weekend. So this week after they gave up that loss to Ohio State. So I think Northwestern will win. That'll be interesting. It'll be a good game. So yeah. All right. Michigan goes into Happy Valley to take on the Penn State Nittany Lions. I have to actually play this game in my Return to Primetime Dynasty. Self plug. But Michigan, who you got?
I got Michigan. Michigan hasn't looked great on the road lately, especially at UConn, especially at other places. But the constant is their offense is improving. Devin Gardner is a very underrated quarterback. But Chelsea Son, very underrated tailback. And the defense is improving. That's the one thing they need is that defense to improve. And that's what it's doing. And plus, you're going to a Penn State team, freshman quarterback, earned the mistakes. Yes, it's in Happy Valley. But Michigan goes in there and gets a much-needed W. Yeah,
I'm saying Michigan wins in OT because the Nittany Lions have nothing to lose in this game. They're on a bell band. They're like 6 for 6 on fourth downs this season, so they have nothing to lose. So I'm saying Michigan's gonna have to go into OT to beat them, just because I believe in Penn State because we are Penn State. So I know it's pretty gutsy, isn't it?
I mean, like gutsy call.
Yeah. The good old Dogs come back home to take on Mizzou. And you want my pick first, or do you want to give your pick?
I'm going to say it right here, and you heard it here first. I said this with Northwestern, and it didn't look good, but I just got it. I'm going upset special right here. I'm going with the Missouri Tigers.
I got you on that one.
Because, listen, Gurley's 50-50. If Gurley doesn't play, that makes it even more prone to us. Now, J.J. Green is a great running back, but the Missouri defense is much better than a putrid Tennessee defense. They gave up 24 points to South Alabama.
My God.
But I think the losses of Marshall as the backup tailback when Gurley's not there hurt a ton. And you look at the receiving core, Malcolm Mitchell getting hurt in the first game. Justin Scott Wesley getting hurt this past week, tearing his ACL. Michael Bennett tearing his meniscus and having to get surgery on that as well. So all three of those, Marshall, Scott Wesley, Bennett. Murray is a great quarterback, but when you don't give him the weapons he's accustomed to, the ones he's ready to go to, it makes for trouble, especially against the team that is fighting and scratching to get relevant in an SEC comp. Missouri last year went 5-7. They've already matched their win total. They want to get over that win total, and head coach Gary Pinkel has improved that team. James Franklin improved his play over a year ago. Josie, the running back, Thomas Josie, has gotten so much better in the offseason after coming back from a season-ending injury last season. The defense has looked even better, and Missouri, they're just out with something to prove. That's all I think. I think they're out to prove something. And I think the key person in this game is wide receiver Dorial Green-Beckham. Now, the Georgia secondary has looked putrid, as we all know. They've looked about as good as Betty Crocker in the morning.
Yeah, that's pretty hot.
So, but I think Dorial Green-Beckham 6'6". He's going to go up and get balls and shred the Georgia secondary. I'm going with the Missouri Tigers.
Yeah, I'm actually I'm going to say Mizzou goes into Athens and shocks the Dogs. I'm saying that because you take out Murray's running game. He's the best off of play action right now. Take out his play action, I don't know, he's shaky, and for them to have to go to OT and win on a field goal against Tennessee, and then you have a good 5-0, not like the best, but you have a decent 5-0 team coming in to your home stadium. You got to show up this weekend, or Dogs fans are going to be like, what's wrong? But they won't be like, what's wrong, because they're ignorant. So, I think Missouri will go in and win. I honestly do. That's just because.
I agree with you on that. I think we're going to both people in a heartbeat because we know they're running out with something to prove, and if they do, that would be their statement win in the SEC so far.
Yeah, and it would also be the biggest Twitter blow up in history.
Fire Rick! Fire Rick!
Florida heads into Death Valley to take on the Tigers, and I'm going to say LSU rolls in Death Valley.
Now, not so fast. I'm not picking Florida, but this will be much closer than the experts think. Tyler Murphy has improved drastically. I watched him play the last couple weeks once against Kentucky. Now, Kentucky and Arkansas aren't the best SEC defenses, but he's looked better. The offense looks better. He's averaging more yards per carry on a rush than Jeff Driscoll, the original quarterback, did. The Florida defense is the best in the nation. They have playmakers all around the field. They're getting people back this week. Lucas Purifoy is a few studs in the NFL. I think he's one of the better defensive players in the country. I think Florida keeps it close, and I think they're going to find a way to get to Mettenberger, pressure him, stop them a couple of times. But LSU's offense, they got an NFL quarterback, they got an NFL running back in Hill, and they got an NFL wide receiver in Jarvis Landry and Odell Beckham Jr. The defense is improving. They'll find a way to get to Florida's offense as well. It goes into the fourth, tied. LSU leads with a touchdown victory at home in Death Valley.
I'm going to be rooting for Florida because I absolutely hate LSU. So I'm going to be rooting for Florida, but I think LSU will win. But I really hope the Gators do win, like honestly. Alabama goes into Lexington. Take on your Wildcats, Kyle. Who you got in this one?
Oh, no. I gotta go. I mean, I'm going Alabama. I don't know how you cannot pick it. If you pick Kentucky, I'm assuming you're drunk or just have a low IQ. Alabama's firing on all cylinders right now. The offense is getting clicking. McCarron's finding new targets. And the other running backs are breaking out, like Kenyon Drake. I know him. He follows me on Twitter. If you want to follow me on Twitter, shameless plug right here, Kyle Lance 30, at Kyle Lance 30. But shameless plug. But Kentucky, first year under head coach, they played inspired football last week at South Carolina, but unfortunately, South Carolina ain't Alabama. Alabama's going to go in there, defense firing on all cylinders. Alabama, big.
I must be drunk and have a low IQ because I'm going to pick the Wildcats to shock the Tide in Lexington.
What?
I'm saying it just because if it happens, I'm gonna like literally experience the biggest inclement weather that we've ever had in the state of Georgia. So
You're gonna experience inclement weather. It's gonna be a blizzard up here.
is there apocalypse?
Apocalypse again.
But no, I'm just saying. I'm just gonna say it because we all know what happened to LSU a couple years ago. 6 years ago, sorry. But
6 years ago, this weekend.
Yeah, exactly. And at the luck of the Irish, not the Notre Dame Irish, Um, I'm just gonna. I must be drunk and have a low IQ because I'm going Wildcats to shock them.
I'd like to get you on. If you get this right, I will send this to ESPN and you will get a job.
Yeah, they better give me a job and be like, I'm smarter than y'all because I knew Kenny Geiken was good day one. So
that moron Skip Bayless.
Yeah, or Colin Cowherd. Texas A&M goes into Ole Miss to take on the Rebels. I'm going to say Ole Miss will play them tight, but the Aggies will win.
I think I agree with you on the Aggies. Johnny Manziel is the best. That is a playmaker there is in college football right now. And he has been for about a year now. Ole Miss's offense, they got something to prove at home, coming off a couple losses to Auburn and Alabama, and no tracks through the state of Alabama. But to come home and face a Texas A&M defense that is vulnerable, it's going to be a shootout. It will be a shootout, my friend. But when you get in a shootout with the Aggies, I go with the team with the better quarterback at the end, and I'm going to say Johnny Football makes more plays than Bull Wallace in this game. Aggies by 7 in overtime.
Yeah, he'll probably be like Kobe in a Denver motel room. He's unstoppable.
Abraham Washington, you didn't have to say that.
Yeah, I agree. I think Texas. I think it will be a good game, but I think Aggies will win the game. If they lose, I will laugh and I will be like Rebels all the way, and Eli Manning will be like, "Hey, my old school got to win. Too bad I can't." So Arizona Wildcats head into the Coliseum to take on the new head coached USC Trojans.
Woo!
And I'm going to pick the Trojans to win their first game without Lane Kiffin because Kiffin's stupid, so, I mean,
fast.
I know, I knew you were going to say that. I could see the Wildcats killing them, but I have to go with the Trojans, man.
Arizona's offense right now, Kadeem Carey is finally getting involved with his carries. He's one of the ones that ready to back to the country as well. He's going to be an NFL back. Arizona's offense is clicking on all cylinders while USC's defense isn't. USC really needs to get back on the horse, and they're going to get a coach in the offseason that will, but until then, it's going to be a struggle the rest of the season. Arizona by 7 in the Coliseum.
I will cry. I will literally cry. But then I'll be cheered up because Kentucky's going to beat the Tide. Oregon heads into Washington. This is actually a pretty good matchup. I'm picking Oregon to win, though. I mean, I got to pick a team that's scoring 70 points a game to win.
Now, Washington got screwed. It was inconclusive evidence. It was a catch. First off, if you look at the back camera angle, nose of the football hits the ground. I thought the call was right. I thought it was an incomplete pass. I think now Stanford has a long way to go. If they can barely stop Washington's offense, it's going to be a tough time stopping Oregon's offense in about a month. But Oregon's offense is just so much to handle right now. Marcus Mariota, Anthony Thomas is going to be back this weekend. That offense, but the thing that doesn't get talked about more than that offense is the defense. And when the defense has stepped up, both high-powered offenses in the country, Oregon and Baylor, have good defenses.
Yeah.
That's the thing, and that's going to help them down the road. I got Oregon. I know Washington, game day's coming. It's going to be great. And the Washington's already made headlines this week with head coach Steve Sarkisian, former USC assistant, calling out David Shaw and saying they faked injuries, which I thought was class. A program with as much class as Stanford would not take the time to fake injuries. They're a bunch of men, front 7. They're not going to do that, and David Shaw berated Steve Sarkisian about that.
Yeah, they're also not Georgia.
That's not factoring into my decision to pick the game. I just think Oregon's offense, if they can't stop Stanford's low-powered offense, how are they going to stop Oregon's high-powered offense?
Yeah, and, Georgia fakes injuries all the time, and we all know that because of what they did in the Clemson game. And the whole point about the game day, in 2 weeks, game day goes to goes to Ohio State as Penn State goes into the horseshoe. That will be interesting. But, I think Oregon will win. I think it will be a good game. I know Stanford's playing Utah. I didn't really write that one down because I didn't really think that'd be really want to talk about. I think Stanford will probably win that game and continue to win. So, Citadel plays Georgia Southern in Joso, and Southern will win in a close game at home because they have to, because that whole division is terrible right now. Because Appalachian State is 1-4 for the first time in like forever. So Georgia Southern will win. I don't really know if you even know about that, Kyle, so I'm never going to ask you about that.
Southern's going, man.
I hope so. On ESPN3 tomorrow night. Yeah. Valdosta State plays Western Alabama, or West Alabama, whatever you want to call it, in West Alabama. And VSU will roll as they're the number 1 team in the nation. Will pick up their 5th victory. So, that's right. We're going to beat the puny West Alabama people.
Let's put it this way. West Alabama has about as good a chance as a bug in an incinerator to win this game. Or they have about as good a chance as the Braves to beat the Dodgers. So,
or that Chipper would pick the Braves. Oh.
Valdosta.
No, I mean, West Alabama's a great team. They went from being really crappy to being really good. And they always play it, like, I think last year, they beat us last year. So, I think there's gonna be some revenge. And they came here and beat us. So,
I'm going to think it's I still got Valdosta, man.
yeah, Valdosta's got to win that game. It's on ESPN3 at 7:30. You guys got to watch that game because you guys got to represent. Yeah. And then the other game on Thursday night football, that's not NFL and it's not Valdosta State. Rutgers goes into Louisville. And who you got in this game? Because I'll tell you who I got.
Yeah, now Louisville at home is going to be tough to beat. Bridgewater, Bridgewater is a great quarterback. Probably don't be the best quarterback on the board. Nobody's going to go into Louisville with that type of home crowd behind them. I got Louisville.
Well, I got Rutgers upsetting Teddy Ball game in Louisville. I'm going gutsy this week, man. I got Mizzou going. I got Northwestern going. I got UK beating Alabama, which I'm pretty sure I'm going to get like killed in my sleep by ghosts because of that.
Bear Bryant's going to come back and get you.
Yeah. Yeah. Or Bear Bryant's going to drive up here and be like, "What are you guys doing, boy?" But Rutgers, I don't know. They're 4-1. They're a tough team, and I think if they beat them, I will literally poop my pants. If I get all these picks right, I'm just gonna stop doing football talk. I'm gonna go work for ESPN. Yeah, I don't know. It's gonna be an interesting game. And then the what? Kyle, go ahead.
Say that again?
What were you about to say?
I was laughing, man.
Oh. And then the Red River rivalry. That's a mouthful. Oklahoma plays Texas.
Somebody wins occasionally.
Yeah, somebody wins eventually. I'm gonna say the Sooners will destroy them. Good old Tank will go and do it. So.
Sooners big.
Yeah.
Sooners offense is clicking on all cylinders. Honestly, Oklahoma and Bama make a undefeated in this matchup on November 7th. Hence, same night as Stanford, Oregon. That's going to be a great night of college football. Could be 2 undefeated matchups. That'll be very interesting. But Texas is just not the program they used to be. Mac Brown is really his time is gone. And this was a game he desperately needs to win. And usually I say the more desperate team wins. The desperate team don't have enough talent as the other team this time, though. Oklahoma scored 50-plus in a rout with the Belldozer.
And that would be, I didn't mean Tank, I mean Dozer, whatever, it's the same thing. You give up 500 yards to the BYU quarterback, yeah. So, that's enough said right there. I mean, it's enough said, yeah. So, I don't have any more games on my pick sheet, so I'm going to throw this over here, hold on. It's drone, and it's gone. So, 53 minutes in. Anything left to say, Kyle, before I kick you off?
No, just a shameless plug on Twitter again. Follow me on Twitter at Kyle30. I have some funny tweets. So
it's not even his content, people. He steals it from other people.
Yeah, okay. Follow Kyle as well. @IA_Marksman.
Yeah, they already know, Kyle. It's in the description, so there's another self-plug.
I give you the shameless plug as well. So, but not much else to say except I'll talk to you next week, and hopefully our picks go out well. And last week was the most devastating loss I've ever taken as a sports fan with the Cowboys. I was devastated, and I just showed me my love for the Cowboys, and I got to believe in them. But that was a great game, and I'm proud to be a Cowboys fan this week. I hope there's some Cowboys fans out there as well that feel the same way. you love the Cowboys, and I love you. So.
What a monologue. There's actually a Cowboy fan that's also a ginger as well, Kyle. It's in my U.S. history class. So you have some cousins around here that like Cowboys.
I am related to all gingers. My brother Ed Sheeran is very famous. So.
Okay. Whatever helps you sleep at night, my friend. Whatever helps you sleep.
But until next week, I am. Oh man. I am. Wait a minute, hang on just quite a second. I'm going to make one last picky poo for this week.
Uh-oh.
Sorry, I sounded like a little queer right there, but.
Wow. Let's just break out those words, huh?
Sorry. I'm going to go. Boston College heads into Death Valley, South Carolina this weekend. College boy, my Heisman frontrunner right now is going to have another 400-plus yard game. Sammy Watkins breaks out 45-17 Clemson.
I'm going to say 45-40 Clemson. I'm just playing. No, I could go balls to the wall this week and be like, all the top 25 teams will lose this week. How about that? I'm going to say that. But I know it's not going to happen, but you never know.
Okay, now you sound like Rick Talmadge from Anchorman.
Yeah, or I'll be like Colin Cowherd and be like, back when Jordan played,
It makes an irrelevant argument.
Yeah, I don't even want to get into that because that will be another hour. So, thanks for calling in, Kyle. I'm glad that you got your picks in.
Yeah, one last thing. All the listeners, if you're down on yourself, don't ever give up. You got to always stay positive to keep that smile on your face, man. No matter what you go through, God's with you. You got to stay through it. Same with you, Tyler. I know you're positive, but I'm just throwing that in there.
You just made me ultra depressed, and I don't think I should continue anymore.
Later, man. I'll see you next week.
All right, see ya. All right, so as Kyle gets off the phone, I just want to tell you guys, thank you guys for listening to Football Talk, episode 7. That's right, 7 weeks of doing this stuff for you guys, getting my opinion out there, and hopefully you guys agree or disagree. The Kentucky pick is clearly insane, but hey, I'm insane myself. Also, a quick little note, I got partnered with TGN today, and so hope you guys check out their videos, and big step for the channel, big step for all of us. Thank you guys for listening, and I'll see you guys next week for Football Talk, episode 8.